Good evening, YouTube. The Samurai Hobbit here. Well, it's 9:52 in the evening, November the 7th, 2016. Tomorrow is Election Day. Yep. Americans are gonna flock to the polls starting at 6 in the morning all the way to 8 in the evening. And once again, we're gonna have to make a choice between two candidates. All I can say is, what the fuck, America? What the actual fuck? Four years ago, 2012, as we were approaching Election Day, I had such high hopes for this country. After everything that had gone on from late 2011 all the way through 2012, after SOPA, PIPA, CISPA, ACTA, after fucking NDAA 2012, I thought that the American citizens had finally waken up and realized that both the Democrats and Republicans are not serving the public's interests. They are serving the interests of their corporate masters and their special interest groups. But they sure as fuck were not serving the interests of the American people, and they didn't give a fuck about the Constitution or any of the rights guaranteed to us as citizens. NDAA in particular, which would have allowed indefinite detention of American citizens, they would have allowed the government to detain American citizens indefinitely on the suspicion of being terrorists. Obama, the champion of the downtrodden, the one who cares about racial equality and all that bullshit rhetoric, he signed this into law. And he was reelected. Not that the asshole running against him was any better. Mitt Romney. Mitt, 47%. Why do windows on the planes not open? Fucking Romney. This establishment whore like Obama. He was what was running against him. He was what the people chose, allegedly, to run against this living, breathing PR stunt of a puppet that we have as an incumbent. On that day, 4 years ago, that was when I lost my hope in the American voters. That was when I realized that most of this country either doesn't fucking care what they're doing, they choose not to know, or they've just silently submitted to it. Or it's just plain Stockholm Syndrome. We got another 4 years of Obama, of George Soros. We were landed with another 4 years of the status quo, of politics as usual, of the very thing that Americans everywhere have been complaining against, and have been, have been saying needs to go time after fucking time. And these bills, these unconstitutional bills, were made public. We did not have to have this. We did not have to have another 4 years of Obama. During the 2012 election, Ron Paul was a major advocate for real change. And while I did not agree with some of his personal views, such as on abortion, same-sex marriage, and some of his foreign policies, I knew he would not have imposed his will concerning the aforementioned domestic issues on the American people. And as for the foreign policies, he would have worked with Congress. Fast forward to the 2015 and all the way through 2016. And let's look at the Democratic Party. We had Bernie Sanders, an independent senator from Vermont, and he ran as a Democrat. He infiltrated the enemy base, and he damn near got that nomination. I did not agree with a lot of his ideas, especially that government is this beautiful institution that is the solution to all our problems, or that corporations are 100% evil. And I also don't believe in open borders, but with the rest, he was the only one this election that was offering real solutions. And no, I am not exaggerating when I call them the enemy. The Democratic and Republican establishment are the enemy, and they are more dangerous than any Islamo-fascist terror organization. Yeah, at least Al-Qaeda and ISIS are honest about wanting to oppress us. Or hell, destroy us. Both Paul and Sanders were heavily discredited, and they were summarily silenced by their respective parties' leadership. And, well, both men had real, clear solutions for the many problems in this country. But you know what? Their solutions to fixing them, it did not serve the interests of the establishment's corporate masters. Which brings us to what we have running now. Look at this. Fucking look at this. Look at the Democratic Party first. You have Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton. Listen to that last name. Clinton. Deceitful, dangerous cunt of an opportunist. Her last name alone should have scared people en masse to not voting for her in the primaries. And despite all the memes on social media about how great the 90s were, about how everything was cupcakes and rainbows under Clinton, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. The government was spending like crazy. Banks were giving out loans to people who could never pay them back, and they were forced to do it. You know, to this day, people bitch and moan about how Obama had inherited, quote unquote, Bush's screw ups and his recession. And, you know, you know what? This all started way before Bush. But let's focus on the Clinton administration. While Slick Willie was playing hide the sausage with his interns, the various economic bubbles were inflating and inflating, and he just ignored all the warnings about how they were about to burst. Bush inherited Clinton's mess. However, he made it worse with his bad decisions, such as the war in Iraq or the creation of the Department of Homeland Security. This unconstitutional government establishment that continuously stomps out our rights. And now, let's focus on Hillary. She supported the war in Iraq. She supported NDAA 2012. She supported military action in Libya and Syria. She helped create the nuclear deal with Iran. Oh, the modern left of this country, not to be confused with real progressives. These modern American liberals, they say it's such a beautiful deal. Diplomacy has worked. Fuck you. No. You know what the official name of Iran is? The Islamic Republic of Iran. The words Islamic Republic should be a red flag. This country has stated numerous times that they want to wipe Israel off the map. That America is their greatest enemy, the great Satan that must be destroyed. And you want to let them have nuclear energy? This is appeasement. And she also supported hundreds of billions of dollars going to, hundreds of millions of dollars going into Iran's government. It was a ransom. As First Lady, she covered up her husband's sexual deviance. As a senator and Secretary of State, she supported illegal immigration. Yeah, you know what? Don't even try with that stupid, no human is illegal bullshit. Calling someone an illegal immigrant does not mean they're illegally human. It means that they immigrated to this country illegally, in violation of our immigration laws. I am fine with people immigrating to this country. I don't care where they come from, as long as they do it legally, as long as they go through a proper vetting. Fuck's sake. This support of illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. Yeah, same thing. It spits on the integrity of millions and millions of legal immigrants who struggle to come here legally and make lives for themselves and their families. And you just want to give these border hoppers, these moochers who snuck in through the back door, benefits. Allow them to have driver's licenses, to attend our schools. Clinton also supports allowing hundreds of thousands of so-called refugees from Syria without vetting. Oh yeah, and speaking of those refugees, you see pictures of them all the time. No women, no children, no elderly, just young men in the prime of their lives. Refugees. Not at all suspicious, huh? She also has a history of racial insensitivity. But I guess it's okay for her to do it. I mean, because she has ovaries and she's working for the Democratic Party. Once again, the hypocrisy of the modern American left shows. And again, modern American liberals and progressives are two different people, two different kinds of political standpoints. And she also committed election fraud to win the nomination, with strong evidence. And she likely threatened and blackmailed Sanders to endorse her. She's also a pathological liar, but that's a prerequisite to be in the establishment. And she's also a very old friend of Trump. Oh, also, many of her critics and political opponents managed to die under very mysterious circumstances. Anybody who could expose her for what she is, or her husband for what he is. Hillary Clinton winning the election. It tells the world and ourselves that we like the status quo. That we think business as usual is good. That we think that the way this country has been run since the end of World War II was that we are going in the right direction. Lastly, it tells everyone and ourselves that fraud and coercion are rewarded in this country as long as you have the right connections and the right pedigree. Trump is no better. Yeah, for once there is no lesser of two evils. Look at Donald Trump. Think about that for a second. President Donald J. Trump just gives you a gag reflex. This is a man who has been used in pop culture as a joke president that led the country into economic ruin. And like all jokes, they have some truth in them. This man portrays himself to be some guru. Like everything he touches turns to gold, they say about him. But the reality is that he is a living, breathing financial disaster waiting to happen. He went bankrupt so many times, including in the casino industry. The fucking casino industry. What the hell? How do you fuck up in the casino industry, where the system is rigged in the favor of the owners? Look at Atlantic City now. It's a fucking mess. The hotels are closed down. He's a jackass too, but that's not a factor for me. Oh, he said some mean words and showed horrible racial and gender insensitivity. But not the issue. Most of it is blown out of proportion. The things he does say that were racially insensitive, that was just him pandering to the far right of this country, saying anything he can to get elected. Though I do agree with him on the wall thing. Though I don't want a wall, I want an electrified fence. Ooh, he's a jackass. I don't like his personality. He's so classless. You know what? I don't want a friend in the White House. I don't want him to march in front of the camera with a big PR smile and a gracious wave. I don't want class. Really, fuck class. And I sure as hell don't want a living, breathing PR stunt who makes some kind of celebrity out of himself by going to attend high school concerts or makes guest appearances on TV shows or comedy shows. Yeah, obviously I'm referring to Obama. And I especially don't want his commentary on people like Kanye West. What I want is somebody who will do the job in a professional manner. Somebody who can swallow his or her pride and listen to people before making a decision. And this is what scares me about Trump. He's arrogant, he's reckless, he's the living, breathing definition of a loose cannon. I had no love for Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio. But they, at least, had the common sense to listen. He claims to be anti-establishment, but he's very much establishment. He's also as dishonest as Clinton. He and the Clintons are very old friends. Well, or associates, actually. Creatures like these two, they don't have friends. Yeah, it's best not to humanize them. He was also a lifelong Democrat until only very recently. And despite his strong statements on illegal immigrants, he himself has hired illegals to work for him. Illegals from Poland. The man is going to bleed this country dry before his first term is even half over. In summary, if any of you legitimately wants one of these individuals to hold the presidency, to hold the most powerful position in the free world, as opposed to just voting against the other person, well, you're an idiot. There's no other word. You're a fucking idiot if you trust any of them. And you are the reason why this country is in a slow but sure decline, and that we are now the laughingstock of the free world. Think when you're in the voting booth. Think very, very, very hard before you make your decisions. Also remember, the most important thing you're voting for is not the president. It's Congress members, whether it's a senator or a representative. That is what's going to stay in office for a very, very long time. Until we get an amendment putting term limits on these moochers in Congress. You don't think of voting for the president. Think of voting for the one who can control the president. And remember that presidents just come and go. And I know many of you are voting down the line, either Republican or Democrat. This party loyalty is another thing that's ruining this country. before you vote, before you go to your polling station, just research each candidate. Look at what they want to do. We don't have a parliamentary system here. We don't need parties. What we need are men and women who know what the fuck they're doing. Either way, no matter who wins tomorrow, this country is going to face some very difficult times. May God have mercy on our souls. This is the Samurai Hobbit, signing out.